Hello and greetings, fellow StarCrafters. PGL Minecraft here, coming at you with a 1 versus 1 between the players. Acer.Nerchio, which is also Acer.Nerchio. I believe he's actually currently Acer.Nerchio, so I'm not sure why his name is this. It might be he's not been able to change the name on his account or something like that. But he's a member of Team Acer now, not AAA. And hasn't been for a while. And he is the red Zerg player on the left corner over here, and on the right corner is going to be the very, very famous, quite good Empire.Kas, well known for his mech play. Empire.Kas has done well in the tournaments, TSL 3, as well as several others, a bunch of individual cups and things like that. Of course, he is the member of the team Empire. As you can see, his name is Empire.Kas. And Nerchio actually was a member of Team Empire as well. They are playing in the Gigabyte Cup right now, and this should definitely be an interesting match. They should be pretty familiar with each other's play styles simply because they were on the same team. That doesn't necessarily mean they practiced together all that much, but they certainly did it more than you would practice, or at least you would play most opponents who are not on the same team, as it would just involve a lot less practice. Looks like Nerchio is in fact going to be going for a 15 hatchery, which is good for him, as they are in fact on cross positions. However, it might not be so good for him because Empire.Kas is in fact building a proxy barracks right here. It remains to be seen if he's actually going to opt for a second barracks at this point in time, as it could be possible that he's just building it there to try to scare Nerchio. What you can do is then the drone will come out, scouting drone will come up, see no barracks, then he'll get all freaked out or something, cancel the hatch, or something like that. Probably they're not going to cancel the hatch, but it could certainly mess up their plans quite a bit. But actually, it looks like that drone is actually going to spot that barracks right away. The barracks maybe should have been built just a little bit lower, and now that drone is actually going to be able to harass that SCV just a little bit. However, good building placement here with the trees as well as the little wall right here is actually going to prevent the majority of that harassment, and that SCV is going to get off before that finishes. Also, we can see that Empire.Kas is not up to get a second barracks right there, so it was in fact just one barracks, which was designed to kind of throw Nerchio off, but unfortunately for him, Nerchio saw it right away, so that is a minor victory for Nerchio. It looks like Nerchio is not going to be opting for any sort of quick gas. I think part of that... Ooh, is he going to get the kill? Oh, nice block there from that SCV. He's going to want to finish repairing the SCV. Oh, and actually takes out the drone. Alright, well, not exactly sure why he's not opting to get gas quite yet. It means he's going to be aiming for a more economic build. It is possible he's going for the Spinishima build, but no, that is not true because he is getting his extractor right there. It's very rare that you see Zerg players go ahead and skip that extractor overall. Meanwhile, it looks like Empire.Kas is in fact opting for a reactor expand. Extremely popular build in a TVZ. Excuse me, I'm drinking some sweet, refreshing Coca-Cola. And anyway, so we're going to have to see exactly what kind of build people settle into right here. It looks like Empire.Kas, knowing that his opponent went for that hatchery first, is not going to have too much to fear about any sort of incursion. However, some Zerglings are on the way. I think the Hellions will be ready in time. If not, Kas may have to delay the command center just a little bit, but it's still going to help him out by building on site right there, and I certainly admire him for doing so. It looks like these Zerglings are moving around looking for any sort of proxy starport or something like that in order to try to avoid that. Looks like the factory is going to move down. The Hellions are going to start. The Zerglings are going to arrive just in time. However, that one Marine should be able to deter them just a little bit, hopefully enough, in order to prevent the SCV from being picked off. It's not clear if that's going to be the case. The SCV might, in fact, die. And yes, he does, in fact, get the SCV as well as delay the command center a decent amount. However, these two Hellions are going to come out very quickly from that command center. And yes, it looks like actually all of the Zerglings are going to die. A little bit of an over-pursuit there from Nerchio. However, Nerchio also wouldn't have been able to really get away because he got Zergling speed so light because of his very late gas. And Hellions do outrun Zerglings if Zerglings do not have Zergling speed. Now, as I was talking about, Empire.Kas is a bit known as a mech player, and that's something that's, ooh, nice. Double command center, very good build from Empire.Kas right there. It means that the Zerg player usually has to apply a lot of pressure, alternatively spot it relatively quickly so they can take a pretty quick third. Looks like he is going to get 2 drones right there. Very nice job from Empire.Kas moving in and not losing a single Hellion in the process. When that Spine Crawler finishes, though, that's going to severely limit his ability for harassment in the future. Oh, going for the run-by, but blocked, unfortunately, by Nerchio's Zerglings as well as his Queen. Very nice job on the part of Nerchio and able to stop the Hellions from getting in. Those 4 Hellions could have caused a lot of damage if they were able to slide on in. However, Empire.Kas was in fact blocked by the Queen right there, and the Spinecrawler finished, which meant that Kas had to pull out. Only lost a single Hellion, which is good for him, as you definitely want to keep those Hellions alive. But, okay, looks like for sure he's not actually going to be going for mech. He's going to be going for Marine Tank, which is what the vast majority of players do. But I do want to say it is nice to see mech, as in the very beginning of the game, you saw basically nobody going mech. Everyone went Marine Marauder, and I think a lot of that was kind of like a comparison to the Brood Wars. The Marines are much improved from Brood War days, and the Marauder was like this new unit that seemed like it was so useful in all sorts of different situations. But now people are kind of figuring out how to play mech successfully, and different kinds of builds involving mech, and how to protect yourself against different things that the Zergs can do to counter mech, such as, you know, Brood Lords or Mutalisks or something like that. And so, you know, it's kind of struck a nice balance where mech has actually become a lot more viable. And it's also nice that they did, in fact, add the Marauder. I know this is like, why are you talking about, like, changes from Brood War now? But I think it's always important to keep this kind of thing in perspective. It helps you kind of recognize the development of the game in general, and where we're at and where things are going to be going, which is always important for developing new strategies. But the Marauder in general is also very nice. You know, like players, like a lot of people who play different races complained about the Marauder being overpowered. I don't think people really call the Marauder overpowered right there. Nerchio needed to be a little bit more careful with his Roach. Did in fact lose one Roach right there, and is taking his third. However, for Empire.Kas is also taking his third. But it allowed Bio to become a lot more popular, especially against like Protoss, where people used to never Bio. In like the Brood War days, for example. Of course, there isn't a Reaver, but there is a Colossus, which is pretty good against bio units. And if you only had Marines or Firebats to really go against that, then no, you would not be able to bio at all. You'd have to get a bunch of siege tanks and do exactly what the Terran players of Brood War did. So, it's very nice to see the game developing like this, and people kind of transitioning towards new strategies, finding counters to those strategies, and different things that they can do. And you can kind of see that based on the way that strategies have kind of developed over the years. You know, like 2 base racks openings, while they still happen and are still fairly popular. I do want to mention that Kas did repair of his Hellions, very nice move there. Have not been nearly as popular as they used to be under the old little system. These Roaches are going to move in, probably not cause too much damage, as there are a number of siege tanks as well as some supply depots blocking those Roaches from getting in. And now it's all Reactor Hellion, right? Like that's what the vast majority of Terrans are using. I bet you that Reactor Hellion will not be like a super popular build going into the future. Like, I mean, I think it'll be pretty popular because it seems like it's a pretty solid build, but there will probably be something that will be developed, or Zerg players will somehow find a counter to it that Terran players will start doing as their kind of opening build. This combination of tanks and Hellions is very nice right here because it allows you to run down the Roaches quite effectively while the Hellions kind of follow up. Alright, so looks like he's actually getting a couple of Marauders right there. I think that's because of the Roaches that he spotted. You shouldn't get too many more of those, as Marauders are quite poor against Zerglings. But they are also nice for tanking hits. Now, okay, so he doesn't have Stim Pack, and actually he doesn't even have combat shields. So this is a nice push in the sense that it has a lot of siege tanks, and he's actually killed a lot of Roaches as well. Let's go to the unit count just to see exactly what he's doing. Nerchio actually doesn't have very many forces at all. Wow, he only has 11 Roaches. This is going to be an extremely scary push right now. I was going to say maybe I didn't like this push, but as long as he sets up properly, like there are not going to be any banelings, it's all going to be Roaches. And siege tanks will just absolutely demolish Roaches. Siege tank, Marine will just like, oh my god, they choose through Roaches so unbelievably quickly, like it's just not even fair really. And he is, in fact, going to be set up on time. He might scan to try to get rid of the creep tubers. Looks like the engagement is going to happen. However, Nerchio is not really in a good position to engage. And I think Nerchio is actually going to take a lot of punishment right here. Maybe he just has too many Roaches. The Stim Pack is not quite finished. Now it is finished, so he can stim if he wants to, but it's a little bit too late for that. It looks like Nerchio was actually able to clean up that push a lot more cost effectively. I thought he was going to. The fact that he didn't have Stim was actually a big portion of that. And it might have been better, actually, for Empire.Kas to go ahead and back off after that initial push, or at least wait until Stim was finished. Of course, that would have also allowed his opponent to get a lot more additional units out as well. Looks like a bunch of Zerglings are going to move in. No Stim from Kas there. Very smart move on his part. And also, he has, in fact, taken the gold, as you saw right there. I also like that move, as, first of all, this third was gooped up. And second of all, look at that. Nerchio has not kept a Zergling on the watchtower, so he does not see that Kas currently has the gold. He's going to start to file behind real quickly if he does not notice that very quickly. Now, Zergling is going to move up. I think... Oh, did he misrally? Oh, he did in fact see that gas going down, and there he goes. and he sees the existence of that base right now, so he might be planning for an aggression or is possibly going to try to take the gold of his own. Unfortunately for him, siege tanks here can be quite effective in preventing the Zerg from really effectively being able to hold the gold in this sort of situation. Now, we also see another command center going down, very smart from Kas. This is because the gold is in a relatively vulnerable position, so if he loses it, it's nice to be able to have a backup. It also allows him to get additional mules, which will allow him to, you know, use those mules anywhere on the gold, on the third, or the traditional third, I guess, and so on. Now, the supply depot wall is also very nice. It's going to protect this little force right here. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any backup forces to really assist against these Zerglings, so when this counterattack comes in, it's going to do a decent amount of damage, but shouldn't cause too much damage as long as Kas is quick in terms of turning around this sort of attack. In terms of upgrades, we see some pretty good upgrades coming in right now. 2-1 right now is on the way for Kas. We only have one Carapace right now and a melee attack actually for Nerchio, but Nerchio is getting a 1-2 upgrade as well. Looks like those Zerglings are cleaned up. They killed a couple of SCVs, not sure exactly how many they killed. Total workers killed is 12, so actually I don't think they killed any earlier in the game. So actually, he killed about 10 workers on that engagement, so that's pretty good overall. Nice little roach attack here isn't really doing much, as I think he's worrying about his Overlord right here, which is in fact going to be taken out, as well as these roaches, which will die, but they will be able to take 2 acid-infused Marines with them, luckily. Roach is still firing here. Looks like Kas is going to move to set up a siege tank. He has a nice siege tank here using the command center right here to block any sort of proper engagement from the Zerg player. Able to take out 2 roaches right there, and it looks like these infestors are going to be able to slide on in. Oh, nice! Getting 2 siege tanks is absolutely huge. That's going to make any sort of attack right here much more effective, as Kas is now down to, I think, 3 siege tanks. Yes, it looks like he's down to 3 siege tanks right here, and Kas definitely needs to make sure to spread out his forces so that he does not get fungal growth, as a single fungal growth could be quite deadly in this sort of time. We see that Nerchio is, in fact, going for hive technology right now. So he's going to be working his way up. It looks like he's probably going to be aiming for roaches or for ultras or possibly broodlords in the future. However, I do not believe he actually has a spire. Oh, very nice attack right here. There are very few forces defending right here. There is the siege tank that was behind the command center, but it doesn't have any forces in front except for that one bunker, which has been now taken out. Very nice fungals have killed the vast majority of his Marines right there, and I think Nerchio will have to pull out right now in order to maintain the majority of his forces, but he's taken a very large supply lead, and Empire.Kas is now down to very few resources. Oh, actually still at 66 harvesters. Very nice job from him keeping up on his production count, and part of that is, of course, having the 4th command center right now, so he's very much not out of this game right now, but he is going to be having to deal with most likely Ultralists, I would say, coming through soon. His level 3 Carapace is on the way. This small group is going to be taken out, or at least that siege tank is going to die. Additional forces are coming in, though, which is going to cause... Nope, Nerchio is, in fact, going to go ahead and move through, and is going to go ahead and do some fungals. The siege tanks are going to siege up. However, they are going to be taken out pretty rapidly as well. The roaches are now able to target down the remaining siege tanks and finally destroy the last remaining few Marines. However, additional reinforcements are going to come in and clean up what is left of this roach count right here. And we see a lot of resources are actually being banked right now by Nerchio, but that's fairly typical. And if you look, he has actually taken all 5 of his little half moon of bases right there. He does not quite have gas up on all of his bases, which is something he's going to want to transition to, especially as he goes into hive technology, as everything in hive technology is extremely gas intensive. Nice little attack here is going to do a lot of damage as well. I can't help but wonder, I think... Oh, he doesn't even have a Baneling's Nest right now. I think a Baneling's Nest would be quite effective in this sort of situation, as just a couple of Banelings really makes the Marine player have to divvy up his Marines and split everything, which makes the cost effectiveness of his forces much, much lower. We do see, however, here 3 factories right now for Empire.Kas, rather, which is allowing him to speed out 3 siege tanks at a time, which is definitely going to be very effective against these roaches. Nice fungal there. Is able to hit a large portion of the army right there. The Zerglings are going to go ahead and move in. The siege tanks are going to siege up, but just a little too late, as it looks like the siege tanks are all going to be taken out, and Empire.Kas is now down 60 supply right now and is looked to be in a very tough position. We do not see an Ultralist Cavern yet, but Adrenal Glands is on the way. Adrenal Glands being the attack speed upgrade for the Zerg player, in addition to fungal growth, as well as some additional Zergling counterattack is going to go ahead and clean up even more of the forces that are mining on the gold right now. We do see a 5th command center on the way for Empire.Kas that will most certainly be to take this base right here. And, ooh, we do see some burrowed infestors, as there is not, in fact, a missile turret over here, so there's nothing to spot that. No forces in the bunker anyway to be able to really deal with that. So most likely he's going to have to deal with this. I wonder if they're going to... Looks like they're going to... Nope, they're going to be fungaling these SCVs. Second fungal will finish off those SCVs. These forces are coming up, but... Question is whether or not these infestors are going to be able to get away. Looks like they, in fact, will be able to get away as long as there is no scan from Empire.Kas. However, a counterattack here is going to destroy the command center before it can be lifted up. Very unfortunate for Empire.Kas right now, as he's just being picked apart constantly by Nerchio as he's destroying tank after tank. And even though he's building those 3 at a time, he's unable to maintain any sort of sizable siege tank count. And, I mean, the Terran forces are relatively weak to Zerg forces on their own, which is kind of the advantage of the Zerg speed, is that you can engage your opponent on your terms instead of theirs. I question why he has not got an Ultralisk Cavern. Has he got an Ultralisk Cavern? I don't think he has, as he is now almost going to be at 3-3, and he does have a ton of gas, absolute huge amount of gas right now. So it'll at least be a nice tech to get, so he has the option. But my guess is that he feels that he doesn't need it right now. But 600 gas is like, you can very easily get 12 Ultralisk. Looks like this additional infested Terrans were dropped down. Let's take a look at the very, oh my god, 85 workers killed. That is one of the highest worker killed counts I've ever seen in the game at any point in time. And look at that beautiful surround from those Zergers. They're going to go ahead and wrap around the entirety of the Terran army. And Empire.Kas is going to have to GG out of this game. He has been absolutely destroyed by Nerchio, who started off a little bit behind as a result of losing some early units, but did a very nice job cleaning up Empire.Kas' early attack and then just took control of the game from there. Very nice counterattacks on his part and just absolutely destroying Empire.Kas. I forgot to mention this is in fact a best of 5, so we will have 4 more games to watch between these two excellent players. This is PGO Minecraft signing out.